It's a little bit of a rigged situation, as it always is. Technology is fickle, but we're going to get through. We're professionals. It's the Puck Drop Pod. It's an episode. It's a season. It's whatever it is, but it's the off-season edition. It's Chris. It's Ace as I turn my mic around since we only have one.
Hi. We're Amish today.
This is the podcasting version to be an Amish. So it's if you're new to the show, you're new to the pod. It's a Flyers heavy podcast, but we'll also touch on the NHL as we do. But this is kind of where the off season kind of ramps up and turns into like the new season, I guess. And so we have the draft, we have trades, we have new coaches, we have new direction. The rebuild is kind of forming into where it looks like an actual team, or you're at least getting the semblance of what a team would actually look like, or what the vision actually looks like. And let's start with the new coach, because Rick Tocchet, obviously former Flyer, and in the beginning you're like, a former Flyer, we get it. But after the press conference, I got to tell you that it made me feel a lot better. I think that he has somewhat of a direction, at least.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those things where it's like we're all used to the lather, rinse, repeat of hiring former Flyers and stuff like that. I feel a little bit different about Tocchet, though. I feel like maybe he's more on the lines of a more recent player, more recent with the organization, similar to Danny Briere and Keith Jones. I feel like we talk about the core of this team coming together because they're all relatively close to the same age. I feel like that way about the admin staff, too. Yeah. I feel like most of Keith Jones, Danny Briere, Rick Tocchet, and even Rick Tocchet's staff starting to look much better, too. I feel like it's just one of those things where you kind of just, the good old boys club again.
Well, it is good, the good old boys club. But the thing that bothers me, I think the thing that bothers me the most, and I think the thing that bothered me before the hiring was, we like to say, and the Flyers love to pump each other up. They love to pump the Flyers brand up. And look, I would get that if there was something of substance to pump up. I have been alive for this will be 44 years this month. I know I look a little younger than that. Everybody take it easy now.
Rub it in.
Let Daddy know what he looks like, all right? What are you, 44? You look 32. Oh, my God. This is what I'm doing, is just using the podcast to pump myself up. Yeah. But no, 44 years on this earth, wink, and I have not seen much success. There's I could go on YouTube right now, find the games that really meant the most to me,
5 or 6,
and I could do it in an afternoon. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what being a Flyer really means. To me, at this point, being a Flyer means a lot of pumping ourselves up, but no substance to show for it. Yeah. 2 cups in the 70s, great, but when Danny says he looks like a Flyer, what does that mean? JVR? Yeah. A number 2 overall pick.
But don't hit.
Dog shit. Yeah. Hi, I'm 6'5" and don't hit a lick. So that bothers me the most. I do like Tocchet. I really do. But I hate the pumping up of the organization, because there's no real reason to do that. Like, you have a team that was called a cool nickname in the 70s, but that's all we really have.
Yeah. We've always been just a cool nickname, I feel like. After we won all those cups, it was just a cool nickname. And regarding Rick Tocchet, I almost feel like everybody talks about his track record. Like, he's got the 2 cups as an assistant with Pittsburgh. Yeah. He's got his own cups as player. But they were like, oh, in Arizona, he did take a decently a team that was pretty bad and made them decent. Yeah. Obviously, he went to Vancouver and he got the trophy for what's the trophy called for the best coach?
The Jack Adams.
Adams Trophy, that's right. He got the Adams, but one of the things that I always like to point out is people talk about people like Paul Maurice is a great example of this. He was such a good coach for so long, and they were just like, when's he going to get over that hump? When's he going to get over that hump? Rick Tocchet feels to me like one of those coaches that he's not good until he's good, just like Paul Maurice. And now you would never think twice about Paul Maurice coaching the Florida Panthers,
Right. And I think that you put him in this position or this situation. I think if you put him in the right situation or right, like I said, position, he's gonna have success. And I'm confident of that. I'm not knocking Tocchet at all. I think it's a good hire. I think that, I'm excited for it. He's saying all the right things.
Yeah.
He seems like a decent enough guy that, a good mix of a Torts and a Maurice, where he can be a player's guy, but he can also be a hard ass at the same time. So,
He's like a good communicator.
right, and we'll see how that pans out. More reinforcements are on the way for Mr. Tocchet. And one thing that's happened in the offseason that really surprised me, and I guess it goes to what Danny and Jonesy are kind of putting together, or the vibe or the culture that they're setting. You want to say, I hate the word culture, but
Yeah, it's a different word now that Torts is gone.
right. But I think the one thing that you'll see about the Trevor Zegras trade, and we'll get into that and the specifics of it, is that when that went down, and that was Ryan Poehling, a second this year and a second next year? Fourth next year. There we go. And so when that went down, typically on Twitter, it'll be 50-50. Yeah. This is the shittiest trade I've ever seen. This is unbelievable. Center. Another one. Oh, we got our center of the future. Blah, 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 blah.
Again.
But I think the general consensus across the board was this was a really good trade that made sense.
Yes. This was a very good trade that made sense. Not only in the aspect of we got some people say he's a left wing, some people say he's a center. Like you said, it was 50-50. I saw somebody on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call it today, say, oh, great, we got Morgan Frost 2.0. No, this is not Morgan Frost. This player is phenomenally more gifted than Morgan Frost. Frost had decent hands, some speed, and he wasn't tiny, but he was kind of smallish. Zegras is 6 feet tall. He's already bigger than Morgan Frost was. He's faster than Frost. He can win faceoffs better than Frost. The only thing that people don't like about him is that he's a showboat. And okay, so was Michkov, put him with Michkov and we've got two showboats together. That'd be fantastic. All you need is a good winger on there. But I think he's got a show me year coming up with his contract coming to an end. So he's going to put it all together. He's going to be playing with some players that are similar to his style. If you remember when he played with Troy Terry and he had the 2 goals, the Michigan, and then he did the flip over and they knocked it out of air.
Yeah. That's
the stuff you're going to be starting to see a lot more, especially with players like Owen Tippett. If Martone makes a team, which we'll touch on later, we got some players that can actually finish those types of plays, and we haven't even started talking about Michkov yet.
Right. And I think the main thing that bothers me, or that concerns me, I shouldn't say bothered, because I do I'm going to start saying that, yeah, I do like Zegras as a player. Yeah. But no, I'm sitting here thinking we can go back to a lot of podcasts that we did, and I think Zegras' name did come up, yeah. And the P word may have came out of my mouth.
And he doesn't need to be that strong.
No, the P word maybe came out of my mouth a few times, and now that he's on the team, I'm like, oh, this is great. Well, no, I'll say that the trade is great. You didn't give up anything. There is some upside to him. Maybe he's one of those change of scenery kind of guys where he flourishes with a new team, a new system, in a better city. He was stuck in Anaheim.
Say about that trade, though.
Go ahead.
The one thing I want to say about that trade is the fact that Danny Briere had this trade last year. That's not insider information. That's just we didn't pull the trigger because either one side didn't feel it was good or the other side pulled away. But remember how we talked about this with the Zegras trade, and everybody was like, oh, it's going to cost you a first and a Frost. I think that's what we said. Well, we got him for far less than first and a Frost.
Yeah.
So that was Danny B playing the long game, and we ended up getting him for a much better price.
As I switch our microphone around, we're doing one mic setup right now. If you're watching on YouTube, that's because we don't really know technology that well. But we're fixing it. Don't worry about it.
Not here.
If that bothers you, my intern, he's probably in Cabo somewhere right now, that kid. So we're fixing it. If it's bothering you on YouTube, look, it's a Saturday afternoon. Calm down. In the summer. It's beautiful outside. Just watch outside, you'll be fine. Where were we at? Yeah, so I might have been a little critical of Zegras, but now that you've got the price, that kind of balances out a little bit. There's really no downside to this. Poehling wasn't going to help you in the future. A second and a fourth, I don't care. But the upside is you get a guy that really turns into, I think the bottom, the basement for him is a nice 2C.
Yeah.
If he turns into a 1, great. I think the thing that bothers me the most about him is not the showboating about it, but if it's well, we want to be a big team. We want to be a Flyers team. We want to be the bullies and all that stuff. And that's great. You can say that all you want. But when you look at Zegras, so thin.
Yeah.
Not really that type of style. But, I mean, I guess if you surround him, and we'll get into the draft, if you surround him with the right guys, because if my dad's watching, he wanted a Shabanov, Michkov, Zegras line, which I don't think gets out of their own end. But so love you, Dad, but let's leave that to somebody else.
The shorty line.
Yeah. That's a very small line. So we don't want that. But if you surround, I think if you build the team the right way, yeah, you can have like if you ever play like that hockey game on like I forget what it was, like the first hockey game on any type of
Was NHL 94?
No. This is before this, like in television, like Atari.
Oh,
like where they had like shut up. They had like the skinny guy because he was real fast.
You could pick a skinny guy
and they had the fat guy who nobody could knock him off the puck, but he wasn't very fast.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you had to mix and match the sizes of your guys to fit to make your team most effective, and I think that's kind of where they're going.
Yeah.
And honestly, what we've seen from management so far up until this point, and this is really the first point where they're actually doing anything.
Yeah.
Up until now, it's just been kind of cutting cap, getting rid of some money.
Just by subtraction.
Right, and so you're getting picks, you're hoarding assets, and now it's starting to ramp up. So you're starting to get an idea of where they want to go as a team, and I think you got that with this draft, and we'll get into it. First round pick, or the first pick overall for them, number 6, was Porter Martone, 6'3", 215, if I'm looking correctly, if I'm remembering correctly.
205.
Something like that, 205. You'll throw 15 on him.
Probably now.
Yeah, a couple cheesesteaks, you'll be good. You'll be 215.
Exactly. Yeah, welcome to Philly, dude.
In no time, but 6'3", 205, and then you've got, which a lot of people are calling a reach, but we'll get into that. Jack Nesbitt at 12. They switch a couple picks with the Pittsburgh Penguins, oddly enough.
Yeah.
And you get a center at 12. He is 6'5", 2 something.
You nailed that one.
6'5", 215?
No. 185.
185. I'm putting way too much muscle on him. He is skinny, but we'll work on that. They got a weight room for a reason.
Yeah.
So and then we'll get into the later picks, which are also above 6'2". So they're looking to you've got the Michkov, you've got Zegras, and now we're trying to add a little bit of size to the mix.
Yeah. I think with the line that your dad was coming up with, I guess his theory was you can't hit what you can't catch.
Correct.
Although we don't know what we have in Shabanov yet, but it doesn't matter. He's not with us anymore anyway, so RIP. I think it was very obvious that after the Porter... the way he ran up and he chose Porter Martone, or not ran up, but obviously because we did that stupid decentralized thing. But in his press conference, Danny Briere said that he ran to pick Martone.
Yeah.
And you can see why. When you look at the team, size was a big thing in the draft. A couple of reaches, like you said, on Nesbitt. There was a couple, I have the rankings here. There was a couple ranking sites that had him in the top 15. So there was 3 of them. 3 sites had him ranked 15, 12, and 18. So, I mean, that's not... so you reached, what, 2 or 3 spots at that point?
Yeah, at a certain point, I mean, you got to make the trade with the team willing to make the trade. Like, if it's 12, it's 12. So I think that if you want your guy, that's your guy. You're at... Where were they at? They were at 22?
22, and I believe they traded up to, what, 16?
They traded
18?
up... no, it was 12.
12, that's right.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
So you take 2 picks, you trade them to swap. Look, is it a reach? Yeah, but what do you want me to do? This is the guy that I want.
It's a need.
12 is the one that wants to trade. I'm sure he looked at 13. That's when he looked at 14. Yep. They don't want to make the trade. They got their own guys that they're willing to trade or they want to draft. So I think at a certain point, you got to lay off the guy for reaching, because everybody's as an armchair GM and loves to say, well, and first of all, everybody doing that, everybody saying those things, has never seen Jack Nesbitt play one goddamn shift in their life.
Because
not in their life.
I watch prospects all the time, and I've watched him once, and I'm like, who?
Yeah, exactly. So
I forgot he existed.
Right. But I think wasn't he? No, Martone was on your board, but I didn't. Yeah, we didn't talk too much about Nesbitt. I don't know anything about him. I know he's a big. Yeah, he's a big center, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I don't think you can kill Briere for that because I mean you have to deal with whoever wants to deal, whether it be 11, 12, 13, or 14. And if you have good intel that says he's going to go, you got to make your pick. So kudos to him for doing it, trading up. I mean, you figured that they were going to use those two picks at the end of the first round to do something. They did. We'll see how it pans out. Nesbitt probably won't see him this year, but with the Forster injury that was announced recently, pick your how long you think he's going to want to be out, or not want to be out, but will be out. Some saying 3 months, some saying less than that. I don't think Briere even knows at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But moving forward, I mean, you have Martone, you have Alex Bump, you have Jetlachenko. I don't think that really, as a winger, I don't think it really factors into it. But more so Martone and Bump, I think that might change the dynamic there. You might actually see Martone this year.
Yeah, I think this year is going to be a weird dynamic in aspects of how many rookie players are going to make this team. I have no doubt Alex Bump is making the team. It's only July, and I'm watching Dev Camp highlights, and that guy is a man amongst boys. I don't know what happened to him, but he is going to be a steal. If he ends up being a 25 goal scoring third line winger, that's a steal, and I think he's going to be even better than that. To get a player like him in the 5th round like they did, that's actually some good scouting. I have his stuff up here. He's only 21. He's 6 foot. 194, so you'd think he'd put on another 6 pounds. I think he'll be 6 foot 200 by rookie camp at least. But I mean, his shot, man. I'm watching him rip shots, and they have him playing with Martone and Dev Camp every now and then, and watching the two opposites, watching the two of them do things to the other. I'm gonna call them kids on the ice because he's obviously the kid.
Yeah.
But with the other two, with Jetlachenko and even Porter Martone, if Forster is out for a while, Bump's definitely making the team regardless of Forster. I can see Martone making the team. And then if Martone makes the team, you kind of got to look at Jetlachenko and be like, what's he going to go back to Guelph and play better?
Yeah.
No, he's not going back there. Like, there's no point.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like the weird valley you find yourself in with some of these kids that, and honestly, I think even even college now seems like a more viable option for some of these guys than the AHL would be. Because you're seeing, I think McKenna did McKenna commit to Penn State? All of a sudden, Penn State is like the destination.
Well, they're a very quick growing Division I hockey team. All of a sudden, out of nowhere. And I don't know what really brought that on. I wanted to look into that more. So if we find anything else on that, because Gavin McKenna hasn't committed, but it sounds like he's going to.
Mm-hmm.
And there was somebody else who just committed there as well. And I was like, wow, that team, if they get McKenna and that dude, they're going to be such a powerhouse. And even Martone was thinking about it as well. And man, that would be great if Jetlachenko, hey, you want to go to college, buddy?
It's like recruiting for the military. Like, we'll pay for your college.
There you go.
Go play for Penn State.
You just need to do 1 year and you're done.
What do you know about Happy Valley, sir? But yeah, I think that would be the perfect spot for him. But regardless, so let's say it pans out. Well, it's going to be interesting, very interesting. This is one of those, I think, years that I don't know really how to feel about how it's going to pan out, but at least the beginning parts of like constructing the roster and seeing how it's going to pan out that way really is interesting, and we'll see how it goes, because it's one of those years where there's really no, like, I have no idea what to expect record wise. I mean, we didn't even touch on the goalie situation is now kind of, I don't want to say stable, but there is a stopgap in Dan Vladar, comes over from Calgary, which the numbers are okay, but they're better than what we had previously. So I don't know if you want to say the goaltending is set, but it's set for the time being. It's a stopgap.
Yeah, it was funny when I saw reports of Alex Lyon. I was like, oh, great. We're hoping for Alex Lyon now, Yeah, I mean, Dan Vladar, he killed us, so it's great we don't have to play him anymore. I think he has like 2 shutouts against us in the last 2 games or something crazy. But what is crazy to me, I looked on the roster the other day, and between all of our goalies, we're paying like $5.8 million for like 4 goalies, which is insane to me. Because I'm sorry, it's more than that. It's like 6.8 because of Fedotov's huge contract too. So we have a lot of money tied up in the next year in just goaltending alone with all those goaltenders.
Yeah, it's a half of a Bob. 4 guys, 4 of our guys is half of your Bob.
Yeah.
Which, man, could have had Bob. You could have had him.
Listen to me.
You could have had him. Did have him, and it's so funny to see like those. The cup run where Bob's on the bench. You've got him on the bench.
Yep.
And you're sitting there trying to go between Leighton and Bush. And God love Bush. Great flyer. Love him.
Yeah.
But you've got a 2-time Vezina Hall of Fame, 2 cup winning goalie sitting on your bench that you just didn't have the foresight to see, and that drives you nuts. It's such a Flyer thing to do.
I mean, I know he was injured. He was injured. However, he was available, is what I think that they said. He was injured but available.
Yeah,
I would have went with him.
He was backing up.
Yeah.
And I guess at the time, I don't know. It's hindsight 2020. Obviously, it's hard to. And I think the situation was such. And I like I don't know. We're getting off the beaten track here, but for some reason, I forget who said it. But during that time, that 2010 Cup run, they were like, they got rid of Bob because. They wanted to win now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that roster was okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something that because they snuck into that 2010 thing.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just one of those, the typical Flyer, we're going to go all in for no reason. And that's how it works out. And so.
At least we're not doing that anymore.
No. And I think we're doing the complete opposite, which also infuriating at times, but we'll see how it pans out. Like I said, no idea how this is going to play. I am excited for the year, obviously, coming up. I'm really excited for October, but I don't have any.
I do.
I would love to hear it.
We're sitting here, what is it, July 5th?
July 5th.
Yeah, the day after America. I think that I think we're going to be a decent team. I think we're going to have the Tocchet effect. I think the players are going to want to show him that they're all in. I think that if Forster is injured, I do think you see a 3 for 3 on the rookies. I think we start with 3 rookies with Jetlachenko, Parter Martone, and Alex Bump on the team.
I love your positivity. And so, building on the positivity, I want one, I don't want to call it a hot take, but I want one like bold prediction for the year. Now, it could be anything. I'll start to give you some time because I threw that on you.
Okay.
I think that my bold prediction, and we can write these down and see if it happens. My bold prediction, Trevor Zegras scores 30 goals.
Whoa, yeah.
This year. Since I'm a big Trevor Zegras guy.
Yeah.
Love his size, love his tenacity, love his attitude.
Yeah.
That's a lie. I hate it at all. But I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I know nothing about the sport. And I hope that 30 goals, 75 points right out of the gates. Bold prediction.
I don't think you're too far off.
I think I'm right there.
I think you're right there because if he plays like he did in World Juniors 2 times, if he plays the same way he played then, the World Junior team was built very much like the Flyers team. I mean, obviously everybody's underage over there, but the way they were built, he was their star, and he wasn't supposed to be. So I think you're right on track with that. For me, I'm going to go with a hot take.
I love it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I think Sam Emerson's going to have a phenomenal year. I think that...
What's phenomenal? 899 save percentage?
Above 9.
Above 875?
I'm going to say he's going to have above 9.5.
Woo!
I think he'll do, we're going to go with a 32 win season.
God, no.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is, so you figure he's going to get He's only going to get 50.
There's inside trading on this though.
He's only going to get 50 games at the most.
I heard that he went back to Sweden, and he's working out with what was the Swedish goalie? I can't. It was an older Swedish goalie.
He's
it was
working
like
out with the Swedish bikini team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all the blondes over there in Sweden are going to be like, yeah, you need to play better.
He's very relaxed.
Yes, very relaxed. He's in the baths.
Yeah.
No, he was working with some phenomenal goaltending coach out there, and he was working off in the off season, and because he was his lower body was always injured, so the knock on him, even when he was younger playing in Sweden, was he's got such a small bottom half that he doesn't have the.
It's not the size that counts. It's how you use it, Ace.
I set you up for that one. That he's always going to be injured, and I think that's why he's having so many problems. So he's out there trying to get some strength in his groin area.
Oh, hey, aren't we all? Man? I need some strength in my groin as well.
Groin exercises in Sweden.
Sorry, babe. I got to go to Sweden to work on my groin strength.
But yeah, he's doing some different off-season training, and he already started. And yeah, so I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it's going to work for some reason. 30 plus wins for him. 30 plus wins for Samuel Ersson, which would put, it would be a good problem to have. You got Vladar for the next 2 years, and then you go a tandem of Ersson Bjarnason. Yeah. Who has Carson Bjarnason, if you don't know, is a goalie prospect in the old system. I don't know what this means. He's got a Flyers mask, which means could be an AHL, candidate to take over there. Be a nice Bjarnason Fedotov tandem down there. Watch out. That'll be fun to watch.
It would be fun to watch.
He's a big guy. I feel like he's a big Bob. His legs are so fast.
Big Bob.
He's a big Bob.
How's his lower groin strength?
His is much better. Well, he is 6'5".
Well, he's a big guy. Next on the podcast next week, we'll talk about groins.
We'll bring in our Swedish massage therapist.
Ace and I will bring out a ruler, and we'll go into the Flyers locker room, and we'll see what's really going on down there.
You know who else is big?
I don't know if I want to know.
Igor Zavragin. Won't that be fun in like 2 years?
It would be fun. I just want somebody that can stop a puck. That'd be good. I don't care about your groin.
Yeah.
As long as you're using your legs and arms.
I can't wait for Zavragin, man. He looks so good. You want to talk about a Bob? I think he might be better than Bob.
Bob squared?
Bob squared.
Well, listen. Bigger. We'll see how it pans out. All right, so we got 2 bold predictions. What are we talking about as far as we'll just as we sit here, because it's gonna be tough to say what's what the season looks like at the end of it. Again, looking forward to it, but we'll see how it goes. Just as we sit right now, we've got the options that we have. Goalies are set. Playoffs. Hold on. We're going to play a game called Playoffs or No Playoffs. Ace. Playoffs or no playoffs?
Well, that's a tough one, Bob.
Cock a doodle-doo.
I'm going to go with a doodle-doo. I think they actually make the playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they slide in.
Blank Willow. I think they slide in. There's a lot of...
Zegras Willow.
Oh. Trevor Willow. I say we just miss the playoffs again, but this is one of those you miss the playoffs, but you really take a lot of positives. You're fighting till the end. I think it's a different kind of vibe than it was the other couple years ago or was it last year? Where we were fighting at the end. Was it last year? It seems like 30 years ago. Yeah, but you're fighting at the end. But with the younger kids coming up, I think you feel a little bit different about it. I wouldn't be shocked if they did make it slide in, like you said, but I just don't see it.
I have one thing to ask.
I love it.
I want to ask Flyers fans something here. Is it okay if we can give TK a break? Like, I mean, the guy is pretty goddamn good at hockey. And he leads this team in almost everything every single year at this point. And everybody's like, let's trade his ass. It's like somebody's got to score. And for the amount of points he's getting and the way he plays, he's always in the lineup. He's a great. I mean, he's an ultimate flyer.
He is. I might have led some of that charge. I may or may not have called him Dollar Store Brad Marchand for the lot.
Well, yeah.
It was great value, Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
Which, not too far off.
No.
I don't know. I think
Better
it's
than
just...
Marchand.
Right, I think it's just... not a knock on him personally. I just think that he was the best player on a dog shit team.
That's what it is.
And it's like, well, we're sick and tired of this. And he's been around for a while, and him and Coots will get the whole brunt of it.
Yeah. Coots deserves it.
I don't know. I mean, look,
He let himself go.
Yeah.
He had a kid. He let himself go. I get it. I get it. He's getting older. Like, it happens.
Yeah, backs, you know what I mean? Backs, God, as you get older, backs are no good. But, I don't know. That's a problem.
Yeah.
But we're going to ignore the Coots situation. That's what I think it is. I think it's just two guys from the old kind of, I want to quote unquote regime. But, I just think it's two guys that that represent a bunch of losing. And yeah, you can score 80 points and that's great. But if the team's dog shit and you're the marquee name, you're going to get it all.
Is there anybody on the team currently that you think is going to be moved in the offseason then? Do you think we're done, or do you think... I see a lot of Tippett being thrown out there and people wanting Bowen Byram. There was another player that I saw that we were linked to as well.
Well, I think I would say Risto, right? But I don't know what the situation is there, right? I think that's your number one trade piece at this point. I think they like Tippett. I think Tocchet wants to work with him. From what I've heard him say,
Tippett's like Tocchet's wet dream.
That's what I mean. Like, I think it's all about. We'll see this year. I think with the new coach and kind of how everybody gels with Tocchet, and we'll see how it goes. But I don't. It's a feeling that I get. I don't have any insider information. I'm not in the building, but I feel like they have like they're real chubbed up for Tippett.
Yeah.
And I get it. There's probably more in there than he's given. And that might have been the coach, but we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see how it all pans out, how, if there's more development, because I don't think we've seen enough development with the old coach, and I think that was just a bad situation. Everybody said it in the beginning, and I think it came to fruition is that's not really the coach for a rebuild. And so Tocchet, I think, is a little bit more, I don't want to say lenient, but more apt to, I think, develop young kids. So we'll see.
I think there is that connection with Tippett or Tocchet. Man, we got a lot of...
Tocchet,
Tippett, Konechny, Coots. Thank God we didn't draft Braden... What is it? Coots? Coots, yeah, Braden Coots.
I only know that because I played with him. I have my NHL 25
yeah.
right now.
Can you imagine having a Coots and a Coots?
Coots and a Coots.
Anyway, Tocchet seems to be getting good at getting a lot out of players that show they have the tools but don't constantly bring them, like Phil Kessel. I know that's come up a couple times when he was with Pittsburgh. Elias Peterson, the first year, even JT Miller when he was with them. Believe it or not, he got a lot out of Christian Dvorak when he played for Phoenix, so that was really nice to see. So maybe he takes a player like Tippett under his wing. I mean, he's got to, right? Like somebody with that size, that speed, and that shot, he should be getting 100 points a season. How are you not?
Yeah. Well, again, whoa. All right, got to get a little WD-40 in there. Next time that we record, hopefully, we'll have two mics. Two boys, one mic today. So we'll fix that situation. I don't know what happened. I thought
we'd be a third boy.
Hopefully there's a third boy, but I don't know if the internet can handle that. But so I thought we had all the accessories that we needed. Apparently we didn't. So we're gonna figure that part out. If it bothered you, I'm sorry about that, but I thought it worked out pretty well for what we had. So we'll do this as the season the offseason progresses now. Development camp, training camp, shortly September.
Yeah.
September. So we're moving along. It's almost the middle of July. It's going to be here before you know it. So we'll do this far more often than what we have, because now there's actually some stuff to talk about, which is good. Finally going to get us into some meat and potatoes. We'll try to get into hopefully some games, some things to talk about, post-game, pre-games, a lot of things that we want to do that we haven't been doing.
It's the Flyers. They always give us something to talk about.
Right, exactly. So we'll have more plans, more content, more things. We're all fired up. So appreciate you listening. YouTube, Spotify, where you get your podcasts. We'll do this live. We'll throw it out just for the audio. You know how podcasts work. I don't have to explain that to you. Yeah, so like, subscribe, share. Ace is real heavy on the X Twitter. I see you getting good for you, because I can't do it. So good for you. So if you see Ace on Twitter, PuckDropPod on Twitter, you go check him out. Razz him up a little bit. But yeah, we'll do this again. We'll throw it out on the tube, and we'll do it live. Ace, thanks a lot, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for interviewing me, interview style.
Yeah. All right. Next episode of Puck Drop Pod soon. Let's go Flyers, and thanks.